We are in the midst of a heat wave in Adelaide. High 30s today, the same as yesterday and the same tomorrow. In fact, according to the Weather Bureau, this city is in the grip of its biggest autumn heat wave since 1940. As you can imagine, Adelaide and its surrounds look a picture for the NAB Cup Grand Final for 2008, albeit a little parched. And if you think the Crows and the Saints are not taking this game seriously, boy, you'd be wrong. Both camps have selected their best possible sides, and the inside mail from both camps is that they are here tonight to win. And why wouldn't you have a crack with $385,000 for the first prize? As I say, welcome to AAMI Stadium. It's Adelaide versus St Kilda. It is the grand final for 2008 of the NAB Cup. Robert Walls, really hard to pick a winner, isn't it?
Well, it is, Stephen, but we've got two teams who've really been good over the last month. They've played some really good football. They've experimented a lot with their young talent and new players. And Stephen King, of course, is a veteran, but he's a premiership player who comes into the St Kilda lineup. And I'm looking forward to the game because, no doubt, both teams will be keen to win the silverware and win the cheque, but more importantly, just set themselves up for round one of the season proper.
It's hot, damn hot.
It is hot, and we got off the plane here in Adelaide. We walked down the road and we said 100 metres is enough for us, so we found some refuge in air conditioning.
Well, both teams, they're going to be, it's okay because they've got extended breaks at quarter time. They've got 25 minutes at half-time now, extra water, boys, so that'll help.
It certainly will. Look, there'll be extra time at the quarter-time break, the half-time break, three-quarter time. Water, boys, as many as you like, and the shadows starting to creep across the ground. So whilst it's going to be pretty hot for the players, it'll get better as the game goes on.
Saints coming out, they defeated Richmond, Geelong and Essendon to make it to the final. Robert Harvey, he's been criticised too the last 7 days.
Well, Robert Harvey got a bit of criticism from his former coach, Grant Thomas, and Dermot, of course. That surprised me, and I reckon that's a ridiculous thing to say. Robert Harvey's been nursed in the pre-season campaign. He's only played about 50% of the games in which he's been part of. Robert Harvey's a champion. He wouldn't have taken on the decision to play a game this year unless he was sure he could provide some really good football, and he will.
Let's take a look at the Saints team, Rob. There's Michael Gardner. Good to see him fit and ready to go for the Saints after a couple of years.
Yes, and we look at the St Kilda full back line, and Sam Gilbert's one to impress over the last year or two. Sam Fisher's been fantastic at full back. Half back line, Graham's the dasher. Lee Fisher will probably fill that half back role, and Geary's a youngster from Bendigo who comes into the team. In the midfield, Lenny Hayes, one of my all-time favourites. He's an absolute star. Adam Fiora's got dash and talent on the wing. Blake can play anywhere. Half forward, Rewalt, Clark and Milne. A fair bit of talent there, isn't there? Hope Xavier Clark has a good season this year. Kazitsky, Charlie Gardner and Schneider. Gardner and Schneider come from other clubs and they'll be terrific assets. Now, Clinton Jones as a ruck rover has been impressive, and of course you've got King in the ruck, and on the interchange, King and Gardner will share the ruck. 8 interchange players for the NAB Cup games, and they'll need that in these conditions.
So that's the St Kilda lineup for tonight. Adelaide Crows defeated Collingwood, Fremantle and Hawthorn to make it here. What do you think of their new ruck setup with no Hudson and no Biglands, of course?
Well, it means that Marek gets every opportunity to impress, and also Griffin. So 2 youngsters, neither of them you could say are really key number 1 ruckman at this stage, but I reckon by the end of this season one or both will be. So they're given opportunity. Quarters, if you give ruckman opportunity, they rarely let you down. So now they'll get a chance to play 60, 70 minutes each game rather than the 30 minutes they had when Hudson was playing for them.
The crowd building here at AAMI Stadium. They're hoping for at least 30,000 to those. We have a look at the Crows lineup.
OK, Quarters. Well, we'll have a look at the Adelaide lineup, and John Cock and Rutten and Stevens, very experienced last line of defence. Rutten, of course, All-Australian. Boxer Beauty at centre-half back, can play centre-half forward as well. Bassett experienced on the other half-back flank. We go to the midfield. Scott Thompson has probably been the informed player of the NAB Cup in 2008. Van Berlo gives plenty of dash on the wing, and McLeod will play wing forward. Now look out for Porplesia. He's going to make a real name for himself this year, and of course Goodwin will play more up forward than ever before. That's the plan for the Crows. We look at their full forward line. McGregor needs to have a good season. Scott Welsh no longer there, their leading goal kicker from last year, and Burton of course will thrill us with his high marking. And we look at the ruck, and Marek gets the opportunity. Riley and Doughty, well, they've been around for a while, but they've never been the number 1 midfielders. And you look at the interchange, and there's some experienced names there when you look at that. Moran's one young fella who came across from the Kangaroos, and of course you have a look at a couple there. Campbell, we don't know too much about him.
Knights, isn't he?
And Knights, of course, he's one of those midfielders given opportunity under Neil Craig in 2008.
Do you know if St Kilda wins tonight, Robert? Stephen King would have played in 3 premierships in the last 5 matches. That's a lot of tattoos.
It is. I don't know if he would have put a tattoo on for the VFL one, and I'm not sure he'll put one on if he wins tonight. But he would have
in the VFL.
He would have after that. Wasn't it fantastic to see Stephen King receive the premiership medallion? And he was the best ruckman. I thought he was the best ruckman of the 4 on the ground in the grand final. So, and the other thing about him, he'll play at least 3 years with St Kilda. I think some of his best football is still in front of him.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we now invite you to stand and join with Clara Petersons and TJ Alcanis to sing the Australian National Anthem.
And well done to TJ Alcanis and Clara Petersons. Great effort.
Quarters, I'm going to work out one of my cliches very early on. It doesn't get any better than that.
Yeah, it was great. Great idea. Great idea. All right, boys, who are we tipping? I've wavered all week as usual. I'm going for Adelaide because it's at AAMI.
St Kilda for me. I think that they've come over here, and they're not going to come over here and just have a practice match. They'll come over here and work really hard to win it. I think they'll win.
Yeah, I like the Crows, Wolsey. I think they're the setups that we mentioned earlier. I think they just work so well for them here at AAMI Stadium. They're fit. Looking forward to seeing this midfield under the pressure of a NAB Cup Grand Final. See how long they can last and how hard they work. Close game, though.
Not like the Crows. The only thing wrong with them is they might be peaking a bit early. They've looked very good.
They have pretty flash boots from Andrew McLeod too. Those see-through Adidas boots. Spectacular. And he's allowed to wear them because he can play.
Well, there's a bit to look forward to here. St Kilda, of course, in this period since 2004 when they won the pre-season comp, have come to Adelaide for some big finals and acquitted themselves very well. They, in Port Adelaide's premiership year, went within a kick of beating them here in the preliminary final, and the next year they came over and beat Adelaide in a qualifying final. They can travel and win, and they still have a core of that team together.
Do you like McLeod up forward, Rob?
I do, because look, he averaged 25 touches a game playing on the half-back flank the last couple of years. He's only getting 15 touches up forward. A lot harder to get a kick up forward, but he'll kick goals. He's been their leading goal kicker in the NAB Cup. He's kicked 6 thus far.
Stephen Baker, the glove against Andrew McLeod.
Got a few weeks to serve, hasn't he, at the start of the home and away season?
That's a great match up there tonight. Nathan Bock versus Nick Reaver. Bock, for mine, has really taken his game to another level, to the point where he's so dangerous from centre-half back. He sets up so much play from back there. He's going to have to concentrate on Reebok tonight, though.
Michael Bozzo sets them in motion. Gardner the first tap, but Symes gets it off for Port Adelaide. Doughty and John Cock. They're very skilled with their hands, Port, working around with composure. Portpleasure to Van Berlo, leadership group member now, and McLeod has it. Nothing Baker could do about that. He pokes it to a spot, hoping for Tippett, who has to fight at ground level. My word, that was a good collect while it lasted. Throw in.
Well, already just in the first passage of play, you can see that Adelaide will play on at every opportunity and particularly use handball.
Eyes up, guys, no hold!
Deep in Adelaide's attacking territory. Marish uses his body. Here's the Schneider man, now in St Kilda colours. Got the handball out. Graham under pressure did well. There's Gardner. Schneider ducked the head. Free kick paid advantage. So Graham's away. Usually uses the ball well. Driving kick is a beauty to Revolt. And he takes the mark at full stretch. So Revolt's told to go. And he's going to pop it into the pocket. It's a clever kick.
Good kick.
And Gardner's taken the mark.
Good kick. He saw there was a bit of space to the boundary side of Gardner, and he weighted the ball there. Gardner did the rest. The kick made it so easy for him to mark. He hesitated, Rewald, because as Luke told us before the game, the Crows will get those numbers back through that corridor in the back line.
Just 2 games for the Cats last year. Couldn't crack it for a senior spot. Now he's playing for the Saints.
Like to see him do well, Charlie Gardner. He's just been on the edge, and with Geelong becoming so strong and settling their forward line down last year, he was a casualty. Goodwin kicks the ball longish. Stevens behind midfield still. Symes has got it again. It's not 20, so he has to go. Goodwin, Rutten, coolly away to Bassett. All Australian a couple of years ago. Mongrel kick, but it was on the right path. Now Thompson, a player to watch this year. John Cock, and that's a good delivery, and Burton's got it low down. We'll put Thompson under pressure here. That wasn't so good. Another throw in.
I think that's another example. What was you mentioned before? I think they're going to add to their game and say, we'll take a risk when we're going forward. We're going to play on. Occasionally that's going to happen. You're going to make a mistake, but their forward line has been their Achilles heel, scoring goals, and they're going to try and arrest that this year.
Oh, good collect by Riley. Quick hands over to Bernie Vince. Steadies. Pops it up. Oh, the big fly was by Tippett. Couldn't hang on to the mark. That would have been a cracker. Ball heads towards the boundary line. Fisher keeps it alive. Does well. Fiora over to Hayes. Long ball to the wing. Geary's underneath it, but coming through from the side to take a solid mark is Brent Riley. Quickly over to Goodwin.
Spearing it to Bassett. Portlesia with Milne chasing. Long and hard. Kick okay to McGregor. McLeod. McGregor. Xavier Clark got him. McLeod. And Adelaide just holding possession. John Cock. Burton not 20. Told to go from 9-point range. Goes for it. And just misses. They trade behinds. Scores level.
So, Rob, with these conditions tonight, the Birdman could do something extraordinary, I reckon. Well, as I'm talking, could get as high as the lights tonight.
The ground's fantastic, and there's no breeze out there at all. So any kick that comes in, if his judgment's right, there's every chance to get his hands on it.
Mark taken by Graham.
Clear away, Fish. Get out of the mark. Move it on, thanks. Play on. Play on.
So told to play on. He'll get past Portlesia. Now drills into the middle, and it's a beautiful kick too. Spots up Xavier Clark. He also plays on the Schneider. And will swing around onto his left. No, he's forced onto his right. Goes Schneider out to half forward. Kicks in the space. Revolt gets there first. Good handball back to Gardner. Now he's got a couple of players in, but Schneider's continued to run. He handballs on. Now Hayes. Good teamwork, Saints. Hayes finds some space and it's gone a long way. Umpires let it go. And in the end, he's missed. He ran his full measure there.
He ran his full measure, just couldn't get any balance. In the end, angled the ball on the side of the right boot, and missed the shot. But gee, everything was perfect except the execution off the boot in the end.
16, he was up to about 16 or 17 on my count, but they were short steps. And there are times on a football field where short steps are perfectly permissible.
Move it on. Play on. Play on.
This is Vince for Adelaide. Adelaide having a lot of the footy. They're chalking up the possessions. It's 13 kicks to 8, 28 to 20 so far. Efficiency is their major issue. Now they're away. Symes driving them well into the 50. Blake stands in their path, needs to get it out, could be in strife. Somehow it came out, but it was thrown out.
Well, Blake's been put into the back line with Hutchton pulling out pre-game. He's a jack of all trades. Well, let's see what he does here. He's first to recover. We thought he might have been pinged for holding onto the footy. He's in real trouble there.
Your line's good.
Gee, sort of scooped it out, so I think he should have been pinged for holding the ball anyway.
So Burton, who missed with the long on-the-run shot. Set position now, 40 metres. Same result. No one can kick a goal.
I think a lot of people have forgotten just how good a player Brett Burton is with the injuries he's had in recent years. Add him at full strength and full capacity. He is such a hard player to match up on for any side.
Fiora to Baker.
This will be interesting. If Baker controls McLeod, does the coach move McLeod into the back line to free him up a bit?
Kicks in the direction of Gardner.
And that's really the query on McLeod. We know he's a star, but he will have days where he's just covered. At the other end of the ground, we can see Big Kazitsky. He really hasn't moved from the goal square. And Ben Rutten, his opponent. Riewoldt playing out at centre-half forward.
Here's Symes. Kicks to a one-on-one. Oh, Tippett almost. Looking for McGregor. A bit of a misunderstanding there in the end, and it's a point. He looks all right, Tippett, doesn't he?
He does. Too unselfish, the Crows players there. Two of them had first crack at it, and each said to the other, you go for it. Cost them half a second and a goal.
Jason Graham, 2 very good seasons with St Kilda. Last year not quite as illustrious as the one that preceded it when he was second in the best and fairest. Now Baker having to shield his eyes over on that outer side of the ground, but the shadows now have crept at least 3/4 of the way across, and the sun will cease to be a factor by the end of the quarter. Now Xavier Clark accepting the kick that went the bare 20. Now he's got to play on anyway. So he leans back on the long left footer. Gardner is there in the middle of it. John Cock cleverly backhanding it out, running on and collecting, but kicking poorly. So it's St Kilda's ball, and the X-Man can have another go.
The Saints are keeping their forward 50 nice and open, aren't they, guys?
I love the inclusion of Charlie Gardner into the side. It's going to allow Riewoldt hopefully to stay deeper inside 50 a bit more. Gardner can push up to the wings, and Riewoldt will score more goals, ideally.
Milne throws it on the boot. John Cobb, spectacular. Now Riewoldt. That's almost a throw. Umpire let it go. That's no free kick again.
It's a better,
and that's going nowhere.
Better spot in the ground to have Riewoldt. He's about 40 out from goal. Because he's so good and he can run, his aerobic capacity is so strong. You see John Cobb there flying over courageously. Having him close to goal has got to be a bonus for them.
Nice work by Thompson. Got it out. Ball, though. Good hands to Clark. Again, just throws it on the boot. Kazitsky, the one-hander. Free kick, Mark, whatever you like.
Well, he had one arm held and was able to mark the ball with the other arm anyway. And what a big presence he is from the goal square, Luke. And you put Fraser Gehrig back into that lineup. Kazitsky, Riewoldt, Charlie Gardner, Stephen King, Michael Gardner now and again. It'll take some covering because not many teams have got 4 quality tall defenders.
Spot on. The guys Rutten struggles with are the super tools, and Riewoldt's got probably 4 or 5 inches on him. He'll cause him some trouble.
Kazitsky. Oh, he's missed.
Kazitsky, he likes to play. As good a player as he's Ben Rutten. He's a superstar All-Australian fullback, but I think the really tall players cause him a bit of extra trouble. So Kazitsky and Rutten's a good matchup.
Jeff, you didn't know better. You'd think they were tanking the way they're kicking, but of course no one would do that, as we well know.
Tim.
Sorry, Rob. It's just been in the news. It's been on my mind. Now, this is Brad Moran, who has come to Adelaide from the Kangaroos, where he was given Wayne Carey's number, of English extraction, and played soccer in Queensland, having a second life with Adelaide. Here's McLeod working back now. Poor pleasure. And Bock. Bock, never a stylist, but always effective. Symes again. Thompson now. Poor pleasure under the pump and just gave it up. Panicked and gave it straight to Luke Ball, and the bounce beat both Riewoldt and Milne. Perhaps each thought the other was going. Bock again giving to Doughty, and Adelaide build once more. Who can kick a goal in this match? The Birdman's outside 50 again. Set shot, that's a long way out, and he doesn't go for it. He sits it up. Tippett is there. Plenty of spoilers against him. Vince, beautifully done. Oh, it deserved better, as he was on the turn as he collected.
He put the head down, didn't he?
He did. We haven't had a goal scored, and we've got 2 teams playing off in the NAB Grand Final. These are the 2 teams that were the 2 lowest scoring teams last year. Now, that takes in Richmond and Melbourne and Carlton. St Kilda and the Crows kicked less than those teams last year. Both pretty good defensively. Both have to improve their attack if they're going to be top 4 material this year.
Graham for St Kilda looks for King.
On there, King, hold! Play on.
He goes into the middle. So build up here from the Saints. Hayes will have to go back to Geary. And he's found some space. He can go on here and kick a super goal. Geary Not quite. Whistle, free kick for a push. It's going Adelaide's way. Taken by Rutten, right on the line, and the Crows clear.
Well done to Riley. Tyson Edwards. And he has that wing to himself. 4 bounces, make it 5. He gets himself to just about within range as the defence has been sucked up. Didn't quite have the carry in his kick. Would have been some goal had he been able to deliver it.
Luke, as Edwards went on that run, Stephen Baker wouldn't go and approach him because he was worried about if he did, it'd be flipped over to his opponent, McLeod. Sometimes you've got to go.
It's unlike Baker.
Moran doing the ruck work. Harvey under pressure. Hayes. Harvey back to help, and Graham, big possession earner. Montagna, hurried kick. Gardner was there. Charlie Gardner. Gee, just about deserved a free there. Vince, this time setting it up for Adelaide. Burton in the middle of it. Blake was there with a hefty spoil from behind. Baker, Hayes, and Graham. Not sure that it was meant for him or the man beyond him, Del Santo. But Graham will do.
You've set the standard, Tim, going with Montagna in 2008, not Montagna.
It's a hard one, isn't it? I suppose you can't really tell him what he should call his, how he should pronounce his name.
Harvey. Chips to Revolt. He marks between wing and half forward for St Kilda. Draws the player over the top to that man, Montagna. Good tackle on Moran by Gardner. Umpire will be forced to bounce here.
Look where Harvey is at the back of picture. Harvey got that pass to Revolt and then has just sprinted 120 metres to get to that position.
That's that there we've got on screen. Adelaide are playing on 81% of the time from a mark. St Kilda only 36. So the Crows' game plan they've been speaking about all summer, they're going to play on and take risks. There's the evidence to prove it.
King.
And it's a really good stat, Luke, because the team that played on the most last year after free kicks and marks, that team was Geelong, and of course we know what they did. Got to take risks, got to be bold, and that's why I like Geelong winning the premiership, because some other clubs and coaches, they might realise that this going slow and backwards and sideways, no good.
Here's Harvey, the veteran. Can he kick the first for the night? Nope. Robert Harvey, his 21st season of AFL football.
We've both gone Mazaire in the same hand. 4 behinds each. And the quarter well advanced. Bassett to Rutten. And Bock. And they really are a very solid trio down the back. 3 talls for Adelaide. There's Goodwin. Hustled over by Lee Fisher. Yeah, just couldn't keep the ball in.
I think Ross Lyon would be actually quite happy with this start, Wolsey, because he's really tried to bring an accountable style of play to St Kilda's side. He's employed a lot of taggers. Baker's playing on McLeod, and they're close checking accountable game at the moment.
Knights, Van Berlo, Douglas, cleverly done. Moran doing the ruck work at the moment and a bit of running as well. Lee Fisher, who was covering Goodwin. And the crowd enjoyed the fumble.
Stephen King. How do you rate him as a ruckman? You've played against him plenty of times, the big fella who's crossed from Geelong.
In 2001, when he was All-Australian, he was as difficult as anyone to play against. He's a huge man, actually a very, very aerobic player. He can cover the ground really well, and I think he's a sensational pickup. He's experienced, he's been captain of his club, he knows the game really well. So if his body stays sound, I think he's got 3 good years, a big frame, and he'll add a heap to this side, along with Michael Gardner, who looks pretty fit and pretty strong again as well.
Free kick going to Symes, who drills it to the hot spot. Oh, working his way to the front and taking the mark is Kurt Tippett, and he looks, as they say, Robert, a likely top.
Well, we'll see that again. He just got in front, put the Duke up, and was able to bring it down. There's the free kick, and it's from this kick that the... See, he gets to the front there, pushes back with one hand. That's his basketball ability, to get up there with the Duke and bring it down. Well done. Let's hope he can kick a goal, Tim, because long time between drinks.
Oh, dying of starvation.
The Queenslander, taken pick 32 back in 2006.
Oh.
It's good enough. It's a goal.
Just looks really athletic, doesn't he, Tippett? I mean, it's a great find for them, and they left Seller out for the NAB Cup Grand Final. I thought that was a bit of an interesting move, but if you can find someone like this who's just got that natural ball skills, hasn't he? He doesn't seemed to be frightened to throw himself at the footy, and he looks very impressive. He can guard the ruck as well. That'd be great for him.
Anyone would think it was hot at AAMI Stadium. The wet towels, the mist fan, they're all out. Brad Moran having a break. Adelaide have just kicked the first goal. It took most of the opening quarter. Kurt Tippett, a controlled juggle to take the mark and then kick truly.
Adelaide 7 interchanges so far, St Kilda 11. Maximum of 16 per quarter.
Umpire Margetts tossing it up. It's only bounced in the centre circle in this competition. Shirley working it away to Portpleasure, and now Knights and Douglas as Adelaide build again. Told he's played on, and he delivers well to Goodwin on a hard lead.
That's a brilliant kick off only 1 or 2 steps, hard and low. If the lead was accurate and the kick was spot on, there's no way a defender could stop that.
Started his career as a halfback flanker, Simon Goodwin, in the 97-98 Grand Final. We know he's an All-Australian midfielder. He looks equally happy at half forward too.
For 6 points from on the 50, and it is across the face, and it's been marked by King in the very last line. Got to be careful here. He has Jared Allen there for him, and he has to be careful as well, but he has a couple of targets over there, and one of them
particularly
is
with a name like Allen kicking across goal.
Exactly. Gubby once at the old Western Oval, as it was then, delivered it to Simon Beasley. Collingwood gave up a game against the Bulldogs.
Christy Malthouse.
Thanks, Stephen. As St Kilda just make their 12th interchange. It is still really warm and really oppressive down here. Every player seems to be struggling as they come off the ground, as you said, sitting in front of those Mr. fans and putting the cold towels and the ice around their necks. They really are feeling the heat already.
That was a sloppy kick from Armitage. We'll have a throw in. St Kilda's attacking half. King got nudged out. That was legal, said the umpire. And that's in the back, and that'll be a free kick going to the Saints. Advantage paid? No, it's coming back to David Armitage.
And whilst the ball comes back, Adelaide just get numbers in their defensive 50, which means it's very hard for a St Kilda player to find space to lead into. Therefore, he goes wide.
Almost got to be patient now. If they have got so many numbers back, if you rush the kick back too quickly, you haven't got an opportunity to set up. So Snyder's a clever player. He'll hang on to the footy and use it well. And you've got to try and, at some stage, hit a leading player and show a bit of composure and a bit of poise, and Robert Harvey provides that now.
He's got Kazitsky and Michael Gardner in the goal square, 2 giants. Will he try to put it on top of them and give them a chance to take a specky?
Harvey does well, gains another 10 metres, now kicks it into the hot spot, but huge amount of numbers back, and that'll be a mark and a 50-metre penalty going to Nathan Van Berlo.
Interesting. I reckon he had the ball out on one hand, ready for the hand pass, and Milne anticipated. It's tough, isn't it? There he goes, as though he's shaping the hand pass.
Van Berlo kicks in the direction of John Cock. Well done by Kazitsky to get a mid on it.
That's a super effort.
He's been penalised.
Oh, gee, a bit tough, umpire. That's a super effort by the big man to spoil and then win the ball at ground level against John Cock. And umpire Vozzo says, well, I'll ping you for it.
Kicks to the 50. 3 Saints fly. None can mark. King's there. It's been busy. Clark feeds it out.
That's a part of his game, Stephen King. You just drop that one when he's at his best form, and when he gets his confidence right up, you've just got to take those marks. And have a look at this.
Deliberate out of bounds, he says.
Kazitsky's probably saying it's 40 degrees out here. I can't breathe. Give me some sort of break.
On the replay, I would say good decision. I think it was there. Man. Well, the fact that he's big's no excuse, Luke. It's an excuse for some things.
You always stick up for the little blokes, Tim.
Someone's got to.
Go home. Let him run.
So I hope the Birdman doesn't blow away as he stands there. Adelaide in attack. They've kicked the only goal of a somewhat lacklustre opening quarter. Now burst for St Kilda, swinging it to the wing, and Xavier Clark is there, but with no room to escape. Edwards, oh, that wasn't so good. Rare disposal error from the Crows, so another throw in on the wing.
Both teams have an extra man in defence, and it's John Cock there who goes underneath the St Kilda player. So John Cock at one end, Raf Clark at the other for St Kilda.
King and Griffin reaching over from behind and gives away a free kick.
Thank you.
Play on now.
Del Santo there to receive.
Great kick.
Great running too.
Fisher able to accept it without losing momentum. That's not such a good placement, but Luke, the old NAB analyzer, that was what you showed us before the game. It was all Adelaide back there.
And this is where they're dangerous from the rebound. They run so hard. Look at the midfielders through the corridor here. And look at them, they'll line up and run hard. Well done, though.
Great smother, Raf Clark. McLeod, though, onto the rebound as though he just knew it was going to be there. And he gives to Goodwin. Too far out. Tippett is up there. His opponent is Allen. Goodwin just holds it up. McGregor, Knights, 60 out, too far for him. Not a bad spot. Tippett tries. He's almost done it. Tremendous effort. He was out-positioned by both the St Kilda defenders, but somehow when it came down, he was the one in the box seat. Montagna giving it off. Schneider, Allen, St Kilda's defence under the pump. Graham, they're out of trouble for the moment.
Kazitsky's out there against Bock.
They're making life hard for Kazitsky. The last two kicks to him have been one at his ankles and the other over his head.
There's a couple of tired boys out there already as we near quarter time. And as the siren sounds, and it's the Crows in front, 1-4-10 to the Saints 4 behinds.
Welcome back to AAMI Stadium, where Adelaide is leading the NAB Cup Grand Final at quarter time, and where St Kilda has made their way to the rooms just to take advantage of that extra couple of minutes that they've got in the quarter time break just because of the heat. It is noticeably cooler down here in the rooms than it is outside, where it still is around 36 degrees, and you can see that the players are really quite struggling with it. St Kilda did use their bench 16 times in that quarter, so the maximum that they are allowed to use it. So I just guess they're going to take every advantage that they can do to try and ease the workload on the players in this heat. Stephen.
Thanks, Christy. Yes, all breaks extended tonight, and extra water boys for both teams. Adelaide 1-4, St Kilda 4 behinds. Both teams missed a couple of easy opportunities for goals. Portlesia and Symes in his new team, both 7 touches, and Graham with 9, Schneider 7 and Ball with 6 for St Kilda. And there's the game notes. Pot. Have a look at Robert Harvey here. Wrapped up.
At right of screen, he's got the towel around him, and
he looks exhausted, but he always looks exhausted.
Well, you only have to look at the sweat on the shoulders of the players. They're very hot. I would think that St Kilda, Ross Lyon, I would think, would say, boys, we've got to kick more than handball in this second quarter. They handballed more than they kicked, particularly across the back line. It took ages to get it into the forward zone. They only had 7 forward 50 entries, and Kazitsky, who was full forward for most of that quarter, touched the ball just the once. So I think they've got to be more direct and just give the forwards a chance, one out, with some decent long kicks to them.
By the way, Luke Darcy, a $26 chance for the Celebrity Grand Prix.
What are you driving, Luke? It looked like a matchbox.
Yeah, I'm going to be high-tower with my head on the roof. It's a feet 500 Wolsey, and I'm just going to squeeze in.
Well, he has to beat Nathan Buckley. He's also a $26 chance. That is your task, Luke. If you don't win, or at least beat Buckley, don't bother turning up.
Darcy each way all day. Here we go, second quarter. Adelaide with the only goal of the match, and they lead by the 6 points. And they have the breakaway here. Vince and Thompson and Knights, and this is their trademark, flipping the ball around, bringing it in, but efficiency not always their strength.
And the Saints have started this quarter with Riewoldt at full forward and Kazitsky playing further out at centre-half forward.
Del Santo and Gardner and Luke Ball now. Graham hemmed in. Now they can set up Montagna, who gives to Baker. And sweaty palms. The ball went straight through them. Raf Clark goes for his brother, but he has Douglas for company. Douglas kept his feet. Clark lost his. John Cock. And he has a target in Stevens.
Wastes no time. Now, what's he going to do? Weighs up the options. Doesn't see much, so goes for home himself with a thumping kick just offline.
Again, another mark and play on from an Adelaide Crows player. It looks dangerous, doesn't it? We know that both sides are pushing numbers back and playing accountable footy. If you reel and go and play on, inevitably something always happens, and it nearly did then.
Clark short to Allen, who finds Burse.
Backwards, play on! Play on!
Now Sam Fisher. And his kick finds Del Santo. Going to get it moving a little bit more quickly, St Kilda. Very static.
Great to see him attack through the corridor a bit more. The Crows press this part of the ground really well. This middle corridor of the ground. You can see again, that's Bassett just chopping it off. Got to be really good with your skills here.
And Bassett's hurt. He puts his body on the line every week for the Crows. He's a little bit ginger at the moment. So's Gardner as Adelaide goes back into attack. That's well done by Allen to spoil. Graham had plenty of it in the first term. Over to Raphael Clark, and a bit more brotherly love there as he finds Xavier in the middle. Now he tries to get things moving. Pops it over the top to Schneider. Schneider gives it to Harvey. He hasn't got a lot on offer. Fiora's under the pump here. He can't pick it up. Doughty. He's wrapped up and will have a bounce.
Well, I just think Schneider went one handball too many. Gave it to Harvey, who was under enormous pressure. And Kazitsky and Rewalt, they must be pulling their hair out, saying, what about giving us a chance, one out against our opponent? We can beat them 3 times out of 4.
Griffin out, reaching his opponent there. McLeod with the instincts of a champion, just getting rid of it in time. Schneider to Harvey, who just held back on the kick because he saw Revolt on the lead.
The Schneider handball, we might get another look at it. It was just brilliant. It was just a little reflex, only travelled a metre. And we'll see Schneider come in here. Draws McLeod and then slips it out to Harvey.
Well done by Burst. That'll be Burst's goal too if he kicks it.
Robert Harvey's the best 20-metre kick I've ever seen. That's his specialty.
So it's an interesting call. Revolt for the Saints first. He puts it through. And the margin is 1 point. Yeah, interesting call, Luke, because aspects of Harvey's disposal with his feet are some have been over the years questioned at times.
I think he was maligned at one stage for his long kicking, and I think he's just developed an ability to hit that short pass, and for the last 10 years, in my opinion, he's done it better than anyone going around.
And Adam Schneider in picture would be feeling pretty good. Premiership player with Sydney, of course, come across to the Saints, and he helped set up that goal. And after it was kicked by Revolt, half a dozen Saints went to him, gave him a pat on the back. He'd be feeling pretty pumped.
Oh, well done by Paul Pleasure. Beautifully balanced as he kicks it inside Adelaide's 50. The spoil from Clark. Vince almost turfed it out. Now Graham over to Harvey. Bassett's in front, recovered from that Knox. He's spoiled by Fiora. Saints just getting a little bit of run into their game now. Graham, Schneider. This is Del Santo. Swings onto that left, goes for Revolt in the pocket. Good mark.
I think I said quarters. Del Santo's my pick for the Brownlow this year. I just think he'll come of age around the 100 games, so he's got done the apprenticeship. He's out of that.
Revolt to Schneider, who loads up and kicks. A point. No, it's play on. Ball still alive. Kazitsky. And no score in the end. And Adelaide Crows out of trouble. Bassett finds John Cock.
It's a thriller every time, isn't it, when the ball bounces back in? But I don't know whether too many people would recommend that it became a fixture, because it was sailing through one part of the target. If they lose by a point, it's cost them. So a throw-in coming up. Still Adelaide by 1 point in this doer affair in oven-like conditions at AAMI Stadium.
Jonathan Griffin will contest the ruck here with Michael Gardner, number 6. He's got a big year in front of him. He's going to play a lot of minutes, and I rate him. I think he's going to be a good young player. He's athletic. He's a good runner. You can see he's still got a fair bit of size to fill out on. He may never be a huge upper body type player, but he holds his own pretty well.
So it's Gardner and Griffin. Gardner the first hand on that. Raph Clark a bit of head in there. He gets it back from Ball. Adelaide defence holds up. Harvey, hair so wet he looks as though he's been swimming, and he did a bit of that over the summer. I saw him at an open water swim. He did the 1.5k between the Edith Vale and Aspendale life-saving clubs a few weeks back.
Don't hold.
Griffin and Gardner again, and Griffin wins this time. Knights can't escape. And that's not coming out. There'll be another ball up.
Not as impressive as Robert Walls was seen swimming with the Dolphins as my male.
Yes.
Or the Mermaids.
No, the Dolphins down at Summers. first of all thought it was a shark.
Plenty of those in television, Rob.
That's right.
Here's Graham.
Well, he's had more possessions than anyone, Jason Graham.
And it's a good kick to Revolt. Just couldn't quite hang on to it. Now Bock to McLeod. And his kick finds McGregor. And it's a good lead from Goodwin. So slow build up here from Adelaide as they maintain possession. They kick it to the 50. This is Paul Pleasure. He just bangs it to the goal square from the side. Oh, another strong mark taken by Tippett.
He's impressive, Luke.
It's one of the great things about the NAB Cup Wars, isn't it? Is that someone like this who may not have had an opportunity to play, he stands up now and everyone on a big stage, a lot of people watching and you say, this guy's actually got something. And he's just put his name up for round one. He might play every game and have a 250-game career out of this.
Now, can he finish? It's a difficult kick. No. He's interested in the footy Bible. He's listed as a long-term prospect, guys. But what we've seen in the last 3 weeks, it's about to be a shoo-in for round one, wouldn't he?
Well, the way that he's taken those marks, you'd have to say play him and play him and play him, because Adelaide Crows lack forward structure. They lack someone who can take a quality mark. And their leading goal kicker last year was Welsh with 49. He's no longer there. Next best was Bock with 29. He's playing in the back line. So you then go to players like Burton. And you just need to have a bloke who can kick, say, 30, 35 goals. And he can also take a turn in the ruck, the young fella. So I would say play him.
You'd have to think that's their intention.
Well, Port Adelaide did it last year with Westhoff, Tim, and I think that was a success.
Shane Burse, he went for King, but it was short-circuited by John Cock. Cleverly collected by Douglas. That was excellent. Now Edwards, and what a beautiful kick that was for Bassett to set something up, and here's Tippett again, and he's giving Gilbert a difficult time.
No doubt the Crows' forward structure is a lot more open. We know the score is only 2 points to margin, as we can see on the screen, but at the moment, as they go forward, there's a lot of space. Kurt Tippett is the beneficiary this time, but the way it's working out is that they are look at the screen up here, and you can just see, look at all that space as a forward. Geez, you love that. And you've got 30 or 40 metres in front of you, and the young guys moving particularly well.
21 of Adelaide's lineup tonight have played all 4 games in this NAB pre-competition series, and Kurt Tippett is one of those, so you'd think they have him in their sights for round one. This one he's just pulled a little bit, and again he misses the target, but he has 1 goal 2 of their score of 1-7, and he looks very impressive.
Sam Fisher would be the man to move on to Tippett at the moment, because Gilbert can't handle him, and he's their best defender, and he plays his best football on quality tools. I reckon Ross Lyon might be thinking about giving Fisher a go on Tippett.
Set up a good zone here, the Crows, so Del Santo's forced to go very short to Montagna, who switches and just finds Raphael Clark. Over to Sam Fisher. To Geary. Now Jones. Oh, Clark went without it, but has time to recover. And he kicks to Hayes. Good spoil by Thompson. And claims the mark. He has paid it.
Well, Raph Clark fumbled and then just gave a hospital pass to Lenny Hayes, and that's not good enough.
This is Knights. Good season last year. McGregor. Difficult half volley. Clever kick. Del Santo in the way. Steady. Now Sam Fisher. King needing to get it off. Baker. Shirley doing the chasing. But Armitage now for St Kilda. Goes for Revolt. Bock edged him off it nicely. It was subtle. It was good. Kick not bad either. Shirley outpaced though by Armitage. This is a game that is being paced. Neither team wanting to push excessively, because they might be battling to recover in a fortnight for round one. Graham, long ball. Milne is there. Had John Cock a little unbalanced there, but John Cock was too strong. Milne has another go. So does John Cock. Ball up.
I think almost every time St Kilda have been able to attack inside 50, they've come back through the corridor. The Crows are forcing them wide. And on that occasion, it was Graham who just took the ball under his arm, cut back inboard. And that makes Nick Riewoldt and Justin Kazitsky's job a lot easier if the ball's coming through the corridor.
Marich the tap. It went to Jones. He's wrapped up beautifully. Geez, they don't give much away, the Crows, do they? There's Jonathan Griffin. Cooling down.
He's had an easy game, Raf Clark, because he's the spare man in defence. He's got the best gig in town.
Del Santo. Back to Gardner once again. So Charlie Gardner over to Raf Clark. Squares it up. John Cock couldn't take the mark, but again the Crows have heaps of numbers back and they mop up quite comfortably. John Cock, what a player he's become now. Over to Edwards. And a beautiful pass out wide to Paul Pleasure.
Still just 2 goals kicked for the evening. Well into the second term. Burton forced to go the spoil there against Sam Fisher.
Just having a look at the Crows forward line in opposition to St Kilda's. There's a lot more space in the Crows forward line here than St Kilda, so that's working well. The scoreboard hasn't eventuated at the moment, but I think the Crows setup is a lot better than St Kilda's.
Xavier Clark to Montagna on the breakaway. And that's a good kick. Riewoldt leading a long way up the ground. Graham running out of defence. Clever kick too. It's hanging. Charlie Gardner. Free kick.
Yeah, good call, Tim. It was a clever kick by Graham.
Saints would have liked advantage.
Yeah, Graham, every time they can get the ball to Graham, they give it to him. He's had 17 disposals, Jason Graham, off the half-back flank. 10 of them have been handball receives. And he's really becoming a class act in AFL football, the former Brisbane Lion.
No doubt about that free kick, although there was a muffled protest from the crowd here at AAMI Stadium. Only they could protest that one, I would think. Gardner now, with the man on the mark only a little over 30 out. The former Cat hooks it. Oh, gee, the target is hard to hit tonight.
It's never been a great feature of his game, has it? Looking for goal.
Couple of misses so far. Adelaide lead by 2 points.
He's got to make the most of those.
I'll pay it.
Riley inboard.
Play on.
To Symes, to Edwards. Out in front of McGregor. And he gathers over to Burton.
Yours, mate.
And he just pops it up. And camped underneath it is King. These are difficult. He stood his ground. Swooping is Douglas. And he kicks the goal.
Well, Douglas has got to go over and give Kurt Tippett a high five. Have a look at this contest. He has been superb, Kurt Tippett. He's reckless with his body. He throws it in when he needs to and creates a contest. Stephen King had every right to take that mark almost uncontested. He fought his way to the front. Great play, Kurt Tippett.
Well, Gilbert should have offered King more protection, shouldn't he?
Yeah, I think he might have. It was a great effort from Tippett, though, Quarters. He just worked his way around him, and he's been a standout tonight, hasn't he? He's been able to create a contest when it's been required.
Michael Gardner now gone down to full forward for the Saints. They've got Gardner, they've had Kazitsky, but they will not kick the ball long to that area. I think they've overpossessed the footy, the Saints. I know it's a low-scoring game, but there's some quality there. Give them a chance. Lee Fisher's been pushed into the midfield for St Kilda.
St Kilda's ball. Hayes to take the free kick. Dean Margette's calling it the Saints' way. And Hayes delivers nicely. Schneider beyond his range. He's got Milne here, and here's a real chance for the goal sneak.
He's happy.
And the Saints produce the immediate reply.
Raining goals.
2 in a minute.
Tropical rain out of the heat.
Snyder's just got that great ability to understand a situation, hasn't he? I mean, the kick wasn't great, but he realised it was a quick play, so he played on quickly, and that allowed Milne an easy shot on goal.
A couple of similar players, both goal sneaks, although Schneider looks as though he might have another dimension that Milne doesn't.
Well, he doesn't miss many opportunities, Stephen Milne. There's a very brave man. And the crowd noticed him and booed him, as you'd expect. It's the Crows by 2 points. And a free kick going St Kilda's way against Riley for covering the ball. So it's going to be taken by Luke Ball. He kicks to King, who's found some space. Bit of experience there, over to Graham, who pumps it long into the goal square. Huge pack fly. Staying down was Rutten. Over to John Cock. Shirley left to be clean here, and he is. Back to John Cock. Crows out of trouble.
Now McLeod in familiar territory, running off half back. This is Riley. Again, the Crows lead back to just the bare couple of points. Look at the numbers in midfield there. Now Symes, who of course played for Port Adelaide in the grand final last year. Tippett was the target again. All roads leading to Tippett. McGregor goes in and does some hard work at ground level, but well, it's come out. I had a horrible feeling he was going to be in strife there. Adelaide lifting their rating here.
The thing about Tippett is that if he doesn't mark it, the ball usually comes to the front of the contest. That's predictable, and that's good for Adelaide Crows crummers because they'll know where the ball's going. So I think he's a real asset for them.
Marriage to McLeod and quick hands to Edwards, but Graham saw it coming. Schneider now out of defence this time, and Harvey was going to play on. Had a quick change of heart. Van Berlo held when he didn't have it. Take the free kick for Adelaide. The locals think it's high time.
Jason Graham has had 19 disposals for St Kilda, 11 handball received, so he's working his backside off as the Crows go back inside, attacking 50. McLeod, clever tap to Burton, stripped to the footy, has another go at it, just throws it out. Now Edwards, what can he do with it? Once again to that hot spot. There's a whistle, and it's a free kick, and it's going St Kilda's way.
Have a look at them. I hope there's more than 30,000 Crow supporters here tonight, because they've had the game here and they need to get out and support their club. Only 30,000 here 2 years ago when they played in the grand final.
Well, there's a big play in the paper today for the Crows to come out and fill up AAMI Stadium.
That's a ball up. That is definitely a ball up.
Saints are persevering with Michael Gardner down forward. Stephen King thinks had a fair impact on the game, but from Saints fans' point of view, I think you'd like to see a bit more of Michael Gardner. He has been fairly quiet tonight with limited opportunities.
Stevens has got the football for Adelaide. Now Rutten.
Yours, Bree.
Stevens have to be good here.
Good effort,
St
Harvey.
Kilda have the numbers. Gardner over the top to Jones. Back to Harvey. Now on the left, squares it up. It's a 2-on-1 situation. Gardner couldn't get there, and the mark easily taken by Rutten, and he chips over to Vince.
Might be a little bit harsh, but Tippett down the other end has found a way to bring that one to ground, and Gardner just got brushed aside a bit too easy there.
Bassett doing a bit of work around midfield. That's a free kick for a push. Burton's ball.
Push down, Nick.
Late in the first half, and Burton decides he'll just sit it up and hope McGregor can arrive. But it wasn't the greatest kick. Out of bounds might be a bad result for Adelaide. That's what they get. No, they get better than that. They get a free kick for a high tackle by Montagna on McGregor. Too far out. And he does it nicely, just measuring it off for Goodwin. But it's the difficult pocket for the left footer, who immediately is looking inside for something better. The range not the problem. The angle is, but he can't find anything he likes, so he's intent on the shot. A couple of minutes before half-time. Well, the distance did prove the problem. And it's a behind.
So the goal umpire got out the way there with Stephen King's history. Took one of the great marks last year.
He did. Stephen King's had a really good half as far as the workout goes, hasn't he? I agree with you, Luke. I think in the second half we might see more of Michael Gardner as the ruckman.
2 minutes to go and the Saints have no interchanges left in the second term. Adelaide have plenty.
50 metres.
Yep, against Van Berlo for a high tackle after the mark.
Bit of a clip.
Yep, fair enough too. So Blake comes up to the wing. It's the Crows by just 3 points. Only 4 goals scored in the first half so far.
50 metres.
50.
He reckons he cribbed over the mark, the Crows player.
So it becomes a 9-point shot.
Yeah, Scott Thompson. And in the context of this game, it's an important kick because goals have been so scarce, let alone super goals. Let's see if Thompson goes over the mark.
Adam, that's the line.
He thought Schneider would swing onto the left boot, and the coach isn't happy because the players made the mistake, not the umpire.
Must kick goal for Adam Schneider. Shouldn't miss this. And it's a 9-pointer to the Saints, and they hit the lead. He's earned his dough in the first half, hasn't he, Schneider?
He's a great inclusion, quarters all round. He just adds that. I love his poise. I love the way he just sums up a situation so well. He's not overly quick, and he doesn't necessarily the greatest athlete of all time. He's a smart footballer. He'll kick goals. Great asset in 2008 for the Saints, Adam Schneider.
A Schneider super goal, earning $1,000 NAB dollars for the Osborne Junior Club in New South Wales, from where Adam Schneider hails.
Brad Moran in the ruck, Luke. How do you rate him coming from the Kangaroos?
Yeah, it's a look. His pre-season form has been very impressive. He's had a bit of time out there again. He's another ruck option that needs to stand up. So he's athletic. He can move okay, but I think he's still got a lot of developing to do.
King had too much nous for him there. In the last 70 seconds or so of this half, Douglas now for Adelaide. Crows looking to try and pull that goal back. Symes again, and on the lead. Burton's got it. He wanted to get it off quickly. There's 50. No, there's not.
Listen to the crowd, and they're entitled to go crook. Footy's back. Gee, it was a nice pass, and Burton, if they keep him as a permanent forward, he'll kick 40 goals this year and excite along the way.
To level the scores. He won't with that. It's outright, and it makes the difference 5 points St Kilda's way.
Great left foot pass, hasn't it?
3 behinds to Brett Burton.
Now the difference there is the umpire would have adjudged that Sam Fisher's momentum carried him over the mark. There was nothing he could do about it.
Milne can't quite get past poor Pleasure. Gives it over to Allen. Interesting kick. Once again, the Crows had the numbers in the midfield. Vince. Over to Rutten. Edwards to John Cock, but they're going to run out of time, the Crows. So at half-time, it is the Saints in front, courtesy of that Adam Schneider super goal. They're 1 super goal, 2-5-26. Adelaide 2-9-21.
Well, it's a low-scoring game, but an entertaining game, and under pretty tough conditions for the players. But I just thought that St Kilda's last 10 minutes of that second quarter, they started to show a little bit of system, getting the ball quicker into their forward line, and with that super goal, it gives them just a handy little buffer at half-time.
We're not far away from the start of the second half in the NAB Cup Grand Final. St Kilda with a 9-pointer shortly before half-time. Lead Adelaide by just 5 points, but it is anyone's game.
Let's go down to Corey Wingard with news on a couple of players for the Adelaide Crows, Bassett and Knights.
Yeah, quarters. Chris Knights, he left the ground with his thigh heavily iced. Left thigh, left quad, big ice pack strapped on that side. I don't think we'll see much more of him tonight. Nathan Bassett as well, after the half-time, he raced back down into the rooms on the other side of the ground. He copped a heavy knock to his shoulder, so he's getting some attention from the doctor there as well. Interestingly, David McKay and Bryce Campbell for the Crows. Two players haven't seen any game time. Still very hot down here. The Crows look surprisingly fresh. The Saints, they look quite weary through that half-time break. About 33 degrees still.
There's another young ruckman for Adelaide, Griffin, down at full forward spot. Schneider's been very impressive. Gardner just needs to do a little bit more.
They've started him down at full forward again, Quarters, and we spoke in the first half. I'd like to see him just get himself into the game. He's only had the 3 disposals. Hopefully he spends a little bit more time in the ruck in the second half.
The winner earns $385,000 tonight. That includes GST, Tim. There's Schneider. Puts the Saints inside 50. Oh, good mark, Rutten. Gardner's got to lift here. It was too easy for Rutten. What's he going to do? Gives it off to McLeod.
You now.
A long kick to the wing. Fisher does the spoiling. Grant, who was outstanding in the first half with 19 disposals. Schneider 15, Dal Santo 11 lead the way for St Kilda. For the Crows, 12 apiece to John Cock and Port Pleasure, and 11 each to Symes and Vince.
They're optimists over here. You've got to give them that. They wanted the deliberate out there. Moran's given away another free, and they won't like that. King again.
Let her run!
Moran still learning the rucking caper. Lee Fisher off to Geary. Jones back to Geary. The youngster reaches 50 and beyond, but he just tried to do a little much.
Didn't come off, but it's attacking and it's ball ballsy, and it's through the corridor.
Through the corridor.
Still think they're going to score more goals if they persist with that sort of play.
He looked dangerous.
Symes to Port Pleasure. Touch ball, so it's play on. Van Berlo now for Adelaide. Adelaide have provided their front half with enough opportunities, but they have not been able to find the way home. Bock takes it very wide. Not so wide, though, that it's out on the full.
They're a difficult side to play against the Crows. I think you're going to see a lot of games like this against Adelaide because they've got this unique setup. They're frustrating. They defend well, and it's not all that pretty to watch sometimes.
Moran did better. He got rid of King, but he did it legally. And the Crows work it to Edwards.
Mine!
Who goes for Burton. He's got Sam Fisher struggling.
He's looked dangerous, Burton, on the lead. And that's interesting. Andrew McLeod started this half on the half-back flank. He's playing on Clinton Jones. We've seen McLeod play as a half-forward for the entire NAB Cup campaign. So the coach, Neil Craig, has decided to put him back where he's played so well the last 4 or 5 seasons.
5 metres forward.
Well, the Birdman has had a few goes from out here tonight, and thus far he's missed 3 times. That looks better. That's curling back beautifully, and Adelaide are back in front.
Spoke about the Birdman a bit earlier tonight, and just my perception is that I think maybe the footy world has forgotten just how good this guy is. And he wins their time trials. He's the most aerobic player they've got. You know he can fly. If he's fit and he looks fit and sound, he'll have a great year this year.
"29 years of age now as Brett Burton puts Adelaide back in front, 27-26.
And Clinton Jones has decided to just move deep into that forward pocket to get McLeod out of the action. I think the coach might have told him to do that.
Beautifully done by Moran to Thompson. Now King.
Get it clear.
And we'll have a secondary bounce in the middle.
Pinned under.
Look, Brad Moran, very physical in these contests. He looks as though he could learn the ruck caper fairly quickly.
He made a big impact in 2006 when he first came onto the scene with the Kangaroos, and then he really dropped off last year, only played the 1 game. So there's obviously some talent there and a bit of aggression, which is great.
Stripped of the ball is Symes. Now Hayes. Back to Harvey.
Yours.
Oh, good kick. Just the 20 metres, I reckon.
I pumped him up before, Tim, and I just said he's a great 20-metre kick, and I had a few strange looks, but I think he's just developed. That's his specialty. and he makes the distance beautifully, and I think Nick Riewoldt agrees with me at the moment.
And the player who set that up for St Kilda was Luke Ball with an excellent tackle that dispossessed Adelaide.
Nick Riewoldt has kicked the goal. Saints back in front. Two goals to Riewoldt. St Kilda by 5.
I think that bit of play there would give every fullback in the competition nightmares. Is a free-running midfielder and a bit of space for Nick Riewoldt. There's no one in the game that can stop him in that scenario, and Nathan Box, his opponent now, it was Rutten before. We know what a superstar this man is.
I saw Luke Ball, and you'll see him come up through here with a tackle to dispossess. That is a super tackle. Frees the ball out for Lenny Hayes to set up the Harvey goal. I saw Luke Ball play half a game last week, didn't get much of it, but his intensity with his tackling made me think that he's well and truly on the right track.
Willing contest for the footy at that ball up. Schneider the hand pass, but not releasing a teammate, and there'll be another ball up. This one will be thrown up, but Moran really letting King know that he's around.
He's jumping well, isn't he? He's jumping early, and that's going to cause him some grief, but King in that scenario probably will dominate.
Again, Moran used a lot of body on him, took him right out, and Moran really fighting hard when it hits the ground as well. Looking like a man who wants to be there in round 1. Adelaide characteristically work it around, but under good pressure. Stevens forced to just dribble it wide, and the Saints have that covered. Harvey there for Lee Fisher. Gives it back to him now. King at ground level. Little 20-metre pass, would you think, Das? No, he decides on the left-hander. Neatly done. Lee Fisher. Gilbert running out of defence. Just about showed us his class there. Now Jones to Graham. He is a long kick. The defence has been sucked up the ground, and it runs home for 9. And the Saints lead by 14.
He mongrelled that off the boot. It didn't connect cleanly.
It was a mongrel.
It was a mongrel off the boot. He was going that fast, he couldn't get clean connection. But they will give it to him at every opportunity. Look at this, he's in the centre square. That is an absolute mongrel.
That's a Peter Hudson flat punt.
And he gets 9 points for that. He deserves a reprimand.
That's his 20th touch, Jason Graham.
Drag him, Luke.
Get him off. He's been on fire, though, tonight. He runs the line so well from half-back, doesn't he? I mean,
12 handball receives.
Got the new black doozer in 2000.
Very un-St Kilda-like, isn't it?
Yeah.
Watch the lines.
He played for Brisbane, but he comes from Sale, and so his junior club there takes the $1,000 from NAB.
And that's up to $50,000 for the pre-season comp.
They're lucky.
There's Graham again for disposal, 21. Gardner's there. Here's a chance for the big fella. Little toe poke off the ground to Milne, and we'll have a throw in. So Gardner against Griffin. Gardner got the tap. It was a nice one too. Van Buller got bowled over. Harvey to Clark. Oh. He got crunched when he kicked. It's a goal. Saints have put their foot on the gas.
I like the bit of ruck work there, Luke. It was Gardner putting it over to the dangerous spot, and bash and crash by the Saints to finally free it up to Clark.
Be a great advantage, won't it, if they can keep them on the ground. We know he struggled tonight, Gardner, but Barry Hall almost made that spot his own by being a great forward line ruckman. Michael Gardner can do that well. Just having a look at Michael Gardner on screen. He's had a look at his ruck work in the forward line. That's just fantastic work to Stephen Milne, and now he's earned himself a spot in the centre square. So good to see Gardner involved in the play there.
Well, a couple of minutes ago, Adelaide had put their noses back in front. Suddenly, they're 20 points behind. Those super goals have a big impact. Schneider to Gardner. Couple of recruits on the job. Long ball, but not the best placement. And it'll be a free kick against Kajitsky.
Got to admire how Rutten plays in front every time. Earns himself a lot of free kicks and just backs himself in. Reads the footy incredibly well.
Nathan Van Berlo. Adelaide with some pulling back to do, and you've got to wonder whether they're capable of kicking the goals they would need to win this. Cleverly done, Revolt, conjuring that away and dealt with afterwards, so it's relayed.
Kicking goals is the problem for Adelaide, and they just fell way down last year with their goal kicking. In 2006, they were the second highest. Last year, they rated 15 out of 16 clubs, so they really fell away.
Harvey sitting it up for Kajitsky, but he had 2 against him, and Brad Symes took it confidently. Might have got his eye poked because he just seemed to be a little unclear in his vision, but got it off satisfactorily, and now McLeod delivers to Douglas.
One of the goal kickers for the Crows goes short.
Everything about the Crows is possession. Chip it round, wait, little chip pass, someone on the lead. If you were a forward, it'd drive you insane.
I guess one of the queries, Rob, of Adelaide this year is, are they going to be able to kick winning scores?
Well, they're not.
Riley bangs it long. There he is, our man, Kurt Tippett.
And they've looked dangerous when they've kicked it long to this fellow.
Oh, it's good there, go back.
Last year they averaged 85 points a game, which was the lowest with St Kilda. The year before they averaged 106 points a game. They fell away 3.5 goals a game last year because their priority was to play possession football in the back line and midfield.
So Kurt Tippett for goal number 2. Margin back to 14.
Well, we've just been pumping him up all night, and we've had good reason to, Kurt Tippett. It's a great name too, and it's not one that you're going to forget in a real hurry. And he's just looked great, hasn't he? That's another strong grab in a contested situation. He's athletic, he's talented, and a real find for the Crows.
He has 2 of Adelaide's 4 goals. He looks a real prospect on this hot night. And it's game on again in the NAB Cup final. St Kilda's lead cut to 14 points.
That's Kenny!
It's Griffin and Gardner this time. Lenny Hayes. St Kilda working it around. Baker is back. Montagna and Raf Clark, and they did it well. Hayes now. Off half-back for the Saints. Good ball in the Del Santo direction. He propped, and the umpire didn't have any problems with Edwards' contact with him. McLeod threading it, but Stevens under the pump. Brilliant McLeod, just prizing it away, but Baker saw where it was going and got there first. It's a contest now. There's some heat in it, in every way. Gardner, Charlie Gardner, Burse. Getting it wide. Milne loves to have a shot at goal. Usually does. And, oh, it's still alive. And that's to Adelaide's advantage. Symes can clear. And, as I said in the previous quarter, it is exciting when it happens. Adelaide hold up.
Rutten. Good kick. Hits Thompson on the chest.
Jeez, he ran hard there, Scotty Thompson. He was on the other outer side wing, ran 150 metres to get that.
Pleasure. To Riley. Good fist away from Fisher. It was Sam Fisher. Del Santo went without it. Saints have numbers back. Baker. To Sam Fisher. Little short one and finds Xavier Clark. To Montagna. Clark again. Good play, good build-up from the Saints here. Burst back to Clark. This would be a magnificent goal. Clark goes for home. Just touched. Oh, that would have been a tremendous goal from the Saints. But not quite.
He could have cut the distance, but he went for the 9-pointer. And certainly from a crowd point of view, it was good that he did. You wouldn't criticise him. Now that ball's just been taken over by Shirley, so there'll be a throw-in. Good quarter for the Saints. They lead by 15 points. Adelaide with a lot of work to do in a low-scoring game. Griffin the honours there over King. Poor Pleasure couldn't escape. Neither will the ball.
Come on, guys, pin to him now.
So a ball up.
Thanks, Nick. Thanks, Brent.
Winning and losing not everything tonight, but Neil Craig's exasperation has shown from time to time when players have made unforced and undisciplined errors. Mackay is having a run now after not having any game time in the first half. It's Adelaide's ball. It's coming back. No advantage.
Took him forward, Nick.
And it's Vince to take it for the Crows. Between half-back and wing. And that's a well-placed ball for Thompson. Between wing and half-forward. 50's crowded. Can't see anything he likes. Now he does. And it's Goodwin.
I like Goodwin as a forward.
Doesn't waste any time. He bangs it long to a huge number of players. And that's a St Kilda remark, I think. No, umpire didn't pay it to Raphael Clark. Could have. Fisher, kick smothered.
It's a hot ball.
It is a hot football. It's a free kick going St Kilda's way. Advantage paid. No, it's coming back. So Raphael Clark gets the free kick. Thought it could have been paid the mark. He's got the ball in the end.
Behind your mark.
Nick Riewold's just come off.
Shanked the kick. Still in play. No, it's not. Sloppy, lazy kick there from Clark. He puts his hand up and says, yep, sorry.
Yeah, that's what he's got to improve on, Raf Clark. He's just a bit casual at times, so we see Riewoldt having a rest. Kazitsky's gone to full forward.
King the tap, Van Berlo. Handball went straight to Del Santo. Soccer off the ground by Paul Pleasure, worth a try, but it's out on the full.
Justin Kazitsky's had just the 2 disposals for the game so far. Wolsey, is there an opportunity to, you know, you've got Gardner and King, would you give him a run in the ruck just to get him involved in the play?
I would, because you want him to get a decent workout. If he only has 2 touches for the game, well, that's not going to help him too much going into round 1.
Graham, one of the stars of the night, and that's a probing ball, beautifully weighted kick. Charlie Gardner couldn't hang on to it, and McLeod just the man to mop it up. Giving to Bock and Riley. Now poor Pleasure. And Adelaide on the rebound. Here comes Tippett. He's so uninhibited above his head. He really commits himself. Goodwin pushed in the back. Free kick to Adelaide within range. Saints thought it should have been holding the ball.
Well, again, Tippett contested, didn't mark, but the ball goes to that predictable spot in front because opposition teams will spoil on him because they realise he's dangerous, and that just creates a second opportunity for the Crows. And Goodwin should nail this.
Okay.
Raf Clark's tackle was the one judged by the umpire to be illegal, I fancy. Although umpire Marget's now indicating that the headlock was also a factor. So Goodwin lining them up with the man on the mark inside 40. And his team needing it.
6 points, Scotty, by the way. 6 points, mate.
And he delivers it, and it's back to 9 points.
Does look very comfortable forward, doesn't he, Simon Goodwin? Wolsey mentioned that before. He's probably comfortable anywhere on the ground. He's such a complete player, but we've spoken a lot about their inability to score effectively. The more quality players like him you have down there, the more you're going to score.
St Kilda led by 20 in this third term. It's now been cut back to 9. King the tap in the direction of ball coming in. There was Riley.
Doesn't have the footy.
And then it's a free kick going to Mackay.
Mark's there.
David Mackay.
Play on that 20.
Taken pick 48 back in 2006. Long ball. Oh, it's a great grab again. Guess who?
Well, he's the target. And
Tippett.
you would think that they're starting to realise the Crows midfield that get it long to him because he'll give you a contest.
Mark's here.
Gee, works well for that front position and a nice vertical jump. Goes straight up.
1 metre out.
He just looks as though he loves it up there, doesn't he? Really loves flying for a mark.
For goal number 3, directly in front. 20 metres out. What a find. What a story this is turning out to be in the NAB Cup Grand Final of 2008. Three goals to Kurt Tippett, and St Kilda's lead cut again, now just 3 points. The Queenslander, Robert.
He's a Queenslander, he's a basketballer, and he's making a name for himself in this NAB Cup Grand Final, no doubt about that.
Picked up by Adelaide in the 2006 National Draft at number 32. And Kurt Tippett looks ready in 2008 to really be something for the Crows.
Knock it out. Ball's out.
Throwing themselves in now. The margin is back to 3 points after St Kilda kicked away to 20.
Ball's out.
And it's the Crows prevailing once more. Bock was after Edwards. Graham, biggest possession earner on the ground. Got to be careful with those, but I put a lovely spin on it. Ball tried to give it back to him, and again. But that hand pass is going nowhere. Vince Van Berlo. Bock. Adelaide teaming well, as they invariably do. That placement might be okay, but Goodwin's path was checked.
Too high. Dragged him around the neck.
Adjudged high in the end, and it's Allen to take the free kick for the Saints.
Yours, mate. Yeah.
He goes out wide where Montagna's found some space. Half back. He's got ball running in support. Back to Montagna. Now Graham for disposal number 25.
Yours.
Big ask here for Milkazitsky. He's paid it.
He got there through sheer will. He was fourth in line. It was going on top of Milne's head. There were two Crow defenders, and Kazitsky has just willed himself to get there.
Look at Neil Craig. He says he doesn't want to win. He is desperate to win tonight.
That was hands, head, shoulder, hands.
And not only his hands, I fancy, but there wasn't much from the defenders.
So Justin Kazitsky. First goal for the night. Don't think it's there. It's not. Another miss from Kazitsky. 2 behinds for him for the night. It's the Saints by 4.
There's the man who has been nailing them, Kurt Tippett at the other end.
Corey Wingard.
Yeah, boys, the Crows have been very excited about Kurt Tippett since they drafted him. Sadly, last year had a very nasty neck injury, and that's why we didn't see much of him, but they're really looking forward to big things this year.
So the margin is 4 points. Front on from ball, and it's a free kick, but Vince didn't mess around. Gave to Van Berlo, to Burton, and it's all starting to happen for the Crows. And Tippett's got this on his chest.
Did you see what he did, Luke?
That was very clever, wasn't it? I was watching him in that build-up. It was a double lead. He went back, pointed to where he wanted the footy, and demanded it was kicked there. And that's just super impressive. I know we keep talking him up, but that was a player of 5 or 10 years experience would be happy with that sort of lead.
Just shows he's got a footy brain, because you're right, double lead, and he indicated where he wanted the ball to go. For a split second, turned on his opponent, pushed his opponent in the chest to get him back 2 metres, then doubled back into the space. The kid's smart.
Well, he was after his 3rd for the quarter. He doesn't get it here. It's still alive, and the Crows are still a chance. Marich, McGregor, Poplesia, Edwards is lurking, so's Van Berlo, McGregor trying to work a miracle. Marich.
Play on. Umpire said play on.
It's a behind, and the margin is 3 points.
Some good footage here of what we're talking about. This is Tippett going back with the flight, so he's turned away, pushed off his opponent. And what you didn't see before that was he actually pointed, he wanted the footy there, playing on a really good player in Sam Fisher. That is very exciting stuff.
50-metre penalty here.
Now, the player with the ball's got his hands up. That's obviously indicating something, and I think it would mean that the St Kilda player is getting a huddle through the middle. end up getting nothing out of it.
Minute and 35 to go. They're probably going to try and play a little bit of tempo footy, hold on to the footy, but with a 20-metre rule in place, it's not as easy as it perhaps is in the regular season.
Crowd close to 27,000 here tonight at AAMI.
Is that all?
Not happy.
Not happy. Had a grand final here 2 years ago and they only got 30,000. The capacity's over 50. They scream about how passionate they are and supportive of their teams, and they only half fill the ground.
Here's an interesting stat on the interchange. The Crows have had 4 players that have played every minute of the game, while every St Kilda player has managed to have a rest. So the heat's a big factor. I think maybe the St Kilda coaches box has been able to give their players a bit more of a rest going into the last quarter.
Turnover here as Graham handballs out to Harvey. Oh, look at the run of Graham. Another handball receive. Caught high. No, holding the ball. Advantage paid. Gee, game's lifted 2 or 3 notches in the last 5 minutes. Now the Crows go forward. McGregor.
Get it in there quick. That's where you've got to play on.
Looking for Tippett. He's caught behind this time. Burton flies. He can't take the mark. Staying down was Van Berlo. Tippett did beautifully. Now Thompson. High ball, but it's all St Kilda in defence. Getting there to create the contest is Burton. Well done, Birdman.
He did well, didn't he? It looked like a certain St Kilda mark. He came over the top, got a fist on it. Appreciation shown by the fans.
Tippett again. Just creates a contest, and again at ground level. That's can't say how well he's gone tonight. He has just been fantastic.
Seconds left. Hard for the Saints to score from here, but they could give one up if they're careless. Ralph Clark, who was careless with a kick a while ago in this quarter, gives to Gilbert. Had a horrid night against Tippett. That's not so great, but time against everyone now. And so the quarter ends with St Kilda leading by 3 points. It was the Crows by 6 at quarter time, the Saints by 5 at the half. It's the Saints by 3 at the last change in the NAB Cup final.
Well, as I think Corder said about a minute ago, the tempo just went up about 3 or 4 paces. The ability to score went through the roof. That man, Kurt Tippett, has just been so exciting and sensational. Full credit to St Kilda. They had a purple patch and outscored the Crows. The Crows have fought back really well. We've got a great game on our hands, and there is plenty at stake. Don't worry about that. Neil Craig in the coach's box is very animated. 2 sides desperately want to win this.
3/4 time, Saints lead the Crows in the NAB Cup Grand Final by 3 points. (49 plays 46). The Saints just with their noses in front. Graham's been outstanding, 26 disposals. Port Pleasure leads away for Adelaide, but the story there has been Kurt Tippett with 3 goals. Has really asserted his authority in this game. Now let's have a look at the players that have been rested. Firstly, we start with the Adelaide Crows. Robert Walls.
Scott Thompson's been their best player through the NAB Cup period. He's been given plenty of spells. 3 times he's come off for a total of 22 minutes. You can see Brett Burton and McLeod. McLeod's only been off for the 9 minutes, so that's not long. But I think it's more interesting when you have a look at the St Kilda rotations, because there's a couple of key players there, Luke, who have had a decent spell.
Yeah, this is the new stat that we've got in 2008. It shows Robert Harvey's been off 3 times for 22 minutes off the ground. Montagna and Del Sando, they are 2 very important hard-running players. They've had both half an hour off the ground.
That's a good break, isn't it?
That makes a big difference, doesn't it? And Nick Revolt's had 17 minutes, so he's played a fair bit of the game. And Graham, who has been, for mine, the best player on the ground, he's still had a couple of rests on the ground, off the ground, and 11 minutes off the ground in total.
Corey Wingard, Christy Malthouse.
They really do look exhausted and really like they are struggling with the heat. The Saints, they have used the bench 16 times in each quarter. You'd expect them to do it again in this last term just to get as much out of them as they can. Xavier Clark, one to watch. He did come off with a bit of a hamstring niggle, which they have been working on. Corey.
The Crows, yeah, they pride themselves on being super fit, and they look pretty good in their huddle. I've got to say, Nathan Bassett's had his shoulder strapped, though. The plan was just to play him for a half. He can come back on if needed. Chris Knight's a thigh strain, heavily iced. He won't come back on again. Bryce Campbell, the interesting one, hasn't had any minutes on the field at all. Fully fresh and raring to go in this last quarter, Bryce Campbell.
Yeah, and we just saw him run up into the rooms too, so perhaps there's something wrong with him.
Looked like he was running up the rooms pretty freely. Would that be a bit of a surprise, Wills, to have someone out in the game and not play them at all?
Yeah, it is. But I'm more interested in this, Luke, because you can see Nick Revolt certainly got control of the group there. They've come over here to win this
Crows are in position, Rob. Sorry to interrupt.
I know. Maybe the Crows don't realise you've got an extra minute or two, because with this heat factor, the quarter time breaks have been extended. They're in no great hurry, the Saints, to get out there. Never seen it before. Teams going in at quarter time and three-quarter time.
The team manager from the Crows might have forgotten about the extra 2 minutes. He'll get a fair talking to, I think, after the game if he's left them out there for an extra couple of minutes. So it's happy.
Adelaide supporters not happy that they've had to wait. So they're giving the old Saints a boo as they come on.
And Rob, you had to go at the crowd.
Yeah, I did.
I can tell you that it's the lowest attendance at a final of a pre-season competition since 1987, when Melbourne played Essendon out at Waverley.
If this game had been played at Telstra Dome, as the AFL was keen to have it played, they would have filled it, absolutely filled it, 53,000 people. Adelaide said, no, we want it played here, and they had every right to play it here because they kicked more goals than St Kilda in the previous 3 matches. But get behind your team, Adelaide supporters, and fill your stadium.
Rob, it is the people talking, though, and perhaps what they're hearing about the competition and also the pricing,
they all
when you
have to
combine
pay,
them, are actually having the effect of quelling the crowd. Anyway, let's get down to the business of this last quarter. St Kilda won in 2004. Adelaide won the pre-season comp in 2003. And one of them will come away from here tonight as the NAB Cup champion of 2008. St Kilda by 3 points. The second ball up on the edge of the circle.
There's Tyson Edwards at full forward with Stephen Baker at full back. They are determined to play those 3 players. Edwards, McLeod and also Goodwin up forward throughout the year, and I like that matchup. Edwards is dangerous out of the goal square, and he'll give Baker some trouble.
Tough to achieve a takeaway here. Eventually a whistle.
It's a free kick, and it'll go to the Crows, and the umpire a mile away from the action saw it. Holding against Thompson.
So Adelaide's ball, as we finally get some movement at the start of this last quarter. Edwards on the lead, and he was a bit quick and a bit tall for Baker.
He's good overhead, Edwards, for a man his size. He's deceptively strong as an overhead mark.
He and Goodwin and McLeod have kicked goals in this competition, 14 between them. St Kilda's defence stands firm. Sam Fisher to Montagna. And that's not 20. Armitage dallied. He didn't want to hear the umpire's call, and really he should be gone.
Yeah, I agree with you, Tim. Umpire made it loud and clear that it wasn't 20, and he just didn't make any effort to dispose of the footy.
Riley, good handball. Now Van Berlo from about 48. That's a beautiful kick. Crows in front. Gee, just hammered that home, didn't he?
Yeah, another one of the talented and probably unheralded Crows midfielders. They just keep running. They're fit. He finishes pretty well, Van Berlo, and that's an important goal. Crows are back in front, and he looks pretty excited about it.
First time the Crows have been in front since early in the third quarter. And the fans who are here are starting to get excited about it. Adelaide on a roll, coming from 20 points down during the middle stage of the third term. St Kilda's chance here. Montagna, poor kick. Slewing off the side. Wobbling high. Bouncing waywardly. Adelaide's ball. Vince Thompson. Doughty under the pump. Did it well. Van Berlo, cool to Thompson. Adelaide really starting to put it together now. Just had to blaze there. Blake can only take it over.
Very good in close, Adelaide there. 4 or 5 rapid-fire handballs just eventually freed up a player.
Arms up, guys! Play on.
Griffin got the tap. Montagna's at the bottom of that. Releases the ball. Blake, gang tackled by a couple of Crows.
No, bright mind, guys, thank you. Yeah, go on, boys, I'm going. Yeah. Arms up, guys, arms up. Play on, both head each other.
McKay, head over the footy, somehow found some space. Kick by Griffin into the pocket. And a good mark taken by Fisher on the second bite. And Sam Fisher goes short to Del Santo, who's had a nice break, as we saw at three-quarter time.
Play backwards, play on.
To Schneider. Receives once again, so Schneider up the corridor, has a couple of bounces, now goes to the wing. Long lead has been provided by Burst, and he gets it on the bounce to Harvey. Kick round the corner. This is Fiore, he's been very quiet.
2 touches for the game.
Centering kick, good option. Oh, staying down was Milne. Goal.
Yeah, Buzz.
Well, it was an obvious one there, wasn't it? They paid the price, 2 against 1. Milne stayed down, goal.
Got some options, the Saints, haven't they? I mean, Kaczynski hasn't had a magnificent night. Gardner's been quiet. We know Gehrig to come back in. But they're all dangerous options. I mean, they're big, talented players that you've got to watch at all times. Milne's dangerous around goals. They're going to be right up there this year, and this man needs to have a massive year if they're going to push right up in the top 4.
Stephen Milne's second. His opponent, John Cock, helped out his fullback in the aerial contest, but he left Milne loose. He's a dangerous man to leave loose. Saints back in front by 3 points. Lead changing twice early in the last quarter. Fiore for another touch, but no result.
Thanks, Aaron.
So a ball up. Umpire Jeffrey wasting no time. King rucking to Fiore beautifully, and suddenly Fiore having impact. Scott Stevens, though, just like the NAB analyzer showed him in the pre-match, Luke Darcy. Gives to Vince. Out wide to Symes. Adelaide building again. And the score's starting to come. McLeod receiving and giving. And Symes pumping in the Goodwin direction. Edwards there as well. The 2 experienced midfielders playing up front.
King to contest this one against Griffin. Well, both missed it, really. Poor Pleasure run down. Umpire says play on. Thompson attacks it. Great strength. Clark lost it. Snap by Riley. Offline, out on the full.
He's got a bit of work to do, Raf Clark.
He's had a couple of fumbles, hasn't he?
He's fumbled. He's been given an easy gig, loose man in defence, and you could count half a dozen fumbles and sloppy kicks. He just needs to tighten up a bit. Got a lot of talent, the lad.
So Fisher brings it back. He looks for Harvey. Graham leads the way possession-wise with 26. Schneider 19 for the Saints. Symes and Thompson 19 apiece for the Crows. 385,000 goes to the winner tonight. 176,000 to the runner-up. Adelaide go deep into attack again. No mark to tip it on this occasion. It was off the hands of Gilbert. McGregor, he's tackled and dispossessed. It was a good tackle. And Geary's in there. Whistle. And it's a free kick going back. It's going to go to St Kilda.
He's dangerous though, Tippett, isn't he? He's an excitement machine. Tried to claim the mark. It wasn't his, but he's one to look out for this year.
Saints bring it out now, half-back on the members' side. Hayes has got it.
He's got a bit of the con man in him for a young bloke, hasn't he? Hayes' kick hangs, and bravely, unflinchingly, Stevens stands and marks. And eyes off a target. Harvey saw it coming. Adelaide with numbers, though. McKay, Van Berlo, Vince. Good running by the Crows. Riley spearing it. Goodwin couldn't hang on. Gilbert needs clean hands. Hasn't had a good night. Crows press. Raf Clark. This time he gets rid of it effectively. And Geary pauses. Gives and receives. Now Sam Fisher. And now Montagna through the middle. Confidently. Did it well and delivers beautifully for Milne, who will take them on and deliver to Kaczynski. And he can line them up if he wants to.
Montagna's been good in this final quarter, and he was one who you mentioned, Luke, had the half-hour rest in the first 3 quarters of the game. And I think Montagna and Del Santo are taking advantage of what's been in front of them.
So 2 misses from Kaczynski. was a little reluctant to have the shot, but he does it and he delivers it, and the Saints lead by 9 points.
Great setup this from the Saints. Lee Montana, smart pass out to Milner. As a forward, you'd love to see a player at the ground just reel and play on. And Kazitsky was in front and he went back and kicked truly.
Scotty, you got the back of the ball.
Well, there's a big unit now. Justin Kazitsky. Hopefully his bad luck injury-wise has passed him.
And that's a shot of the Adelaide forward line as they get set for this centre bounce. You can see they've got a line going straight down the middle of the ground. If they can get a fast break, they've got players who can break into space either side.
His first goal for the night, the Saints by 9. So free kick to Hayes for a hole in the middle. His target is King. He's well positioned. Got both hands on the footy. Spilt the beans. McLeod. Class. Got out of trouble. And now he gets it again from a Stevens handball. And the Crows run it nicely out of defence. This is Bock, who kicks a long ball. Looking for McGregor. Hands in the back. It's a free kick going Adelaide's way.
Put your hands out, Sam. You put your hands out, mate. Come make contact with his back. Hands out. Let him run.
So Crows have possession. Van Berlo to Dougherty. He got dealt with after the kick. That's silly.
Adelaide kick crunched after he kicked it.
Clearly gone.
Poor old Sam Gilbert again.
It was downfield free. Clearly gone, made contact with him, mate.
It is.
Yeah, and fair enough too.
Dirty night.
Yeah, it was a silly thing to do. So from point blank range, Tippett will line up for his 4th.
Flax here. Brett, just a couple.
And it's a 9-point kick, of course, so scores will be level.
Aaron, no closer. Where you are.
He's kicked 4 goals too. That's why it was a 9-pointer. That happened outside the 50. Doughty felled by Gilbert, who was on Tippett through 3/4 of the match. And now he's given him a super goal. It raises the stakes when you're lining up a super goal from well within range. It heightens the pressure a little, but it hasn't bothered this young bloke. His 4th goal of the night. Sam Gilbert responsible, flattening Doughty after he kicked the ball, scores a level. We have a thriller.
We got the close one tonight, Tim.
We absolutely have the close one. If it got any closer,
we go into extra time.
Very excited. Plenty of time left. The umpires are being interchanged. I think Brett Roseberry on. Who's gone off?
Has it been, would that count as a super goal?
I think they're just checking the ruling, but it seems to have stood. No, yes, it seems to stand. The scoreboard's got Adelaide 3 points down.
Well, the goal umpire certainly gave the indication, didn't he?
Yeah, well, hang on, what's happening here? So the score's been changed, so it's only a 6-pointer.
Well, we better check the replay of that incident on the widest shot that we can to see where it occurred.
Got him high, Scotty.
Free kick to St.Kilda, a high tackle. Ball's ball.
Play on.
And Graham, for the 27th time, drives St Kilda forward to the very brink, but Kazitsky gives away a free kick. He just could not budge that massive body of Ben Rutten. Not that Kazitsky's is any smaller, it might be a bit bigger, but Rutten is a man of immense strength. Symes now delivers to Douglas.
So there's St Kilda by 3 points. That 9-pointer now has been ruled as a 6-pointer. Adelaide go into attack. McGregor in front was Clark, had it fisted away. Oh, it's a dodgy old handball, but it's come off. Graham just throws it on the boot back into the middle. Crows out the numbers. Here's John Cock. Hot on his heels is Del Santo. Del Santo drove him into the ground. Umpire said that's okay. Now he's tackled by John Cock. He returns the favour. Umpire said play on. Clark has pushed in the back, and he's got the free kick.
The effort of Del Santos to put the tackle on John Cock was superb.
Well, it's a mile outside the 50.
Obviously, they've ruled that that's not a 9-point goal. I don't know why, but that's the ruling.
It's not the rule, though, is it?
If St.Kilda win by 2 points, Luke, look out.
You're on the rules committee, Luke, aren't you? You should know back to front what's going on.
What's happening, Luke?
I thought the NAB Cup rule was if a free kick was played outside 50. Tim Lane, you're the guru on these things. Am I misunderstanding that?
Well, this is, it's a relayed free kick, isn't it? So from the point from which it's relayed, you would think it would surely constitute a super goal.
Nick revolts. It's a tough kick. It's a point. The Geesh is next door, Rob. You better go and have a conversation.
Let's go and unleash him.
Oh, he'll be beside himself at this. This is Mackay, David Mackay, the Signet.
Well, we've just sent someone to ask the Geesh what's going on.
David Mackay, in fact. He pronounces his name differently. Here's Revolt, whose pronunciation also has been a little ambiguous at times. Gardner does well. Del Santo didn't do badly, but Rutten,
He's a good player, Tim.
is a terrific player. Week in, week out against the biggest and best. McLeod. St Kilda in front by 4 points. They would lead even were Tippett's kick ruled to be a 9-pointer. Here's Shirley.
It's called play on.
Play on. He needs to get rid of it. He can't. And the Saints are a bit of a chance here. But Hayes' hand pass goes nowhere. John Cock now for the Crows. Has a look. Reloads. And takes it wide and methodically to Stevens.
We have a ruling on that kick. I'll tell you in a moment as Burton's got it in the midfield for the Crows. Short to McGregor. Quickly on to Bock, who ran into trouble. Coughed it up. Hard at it was Ball. Good stuff. Now picked up by Fiora. He goes short to Montagna. Now what happened is downfield is not a 9-pointer. The option is can go back to the guy that was originally free kicked against and have a shot. Otherwise, if it's downfield, it's only a 6. So that is the ruling. That is from Jeff Geesh and Robert, so don't argue.
No, Jeff had no, so that's good. It's been cleared up very quickly.
It gets contentious, doesn't it, when the goal umpire actually signals a particular result and then it gets changed. We may as well have a third umpire if that's what's going to happen. And on one hand, we're being told we don't actually apply the third umpire system, video decisions, but they are being put into effect. Here's Del Santo. Here's a left footer. Doughty has him pretty well covered.
Good bit of ruck work by Gardner to hit that into space. Del Santo knew what was on and he was on the burst as the ball hit Gardner's fist.
So under 7 minutes left. Terrific contest now after a lacklustre first half. Second half of the game has been much better. Good steal by Fiora there. Revolt at the front. McLeod at the back. And McLeod as cool as the proverbial cucumber. Bock, but Adelaide being held up, not finding the targets that they need in midfield. Well done, Burton. Just withdrew from the aerial contest to Rove at the front. Poor Pleasure. Clever. Free kick. Drew the infringement from Stephen Baker. For an arm over the shoulder, I think was the call from the umpire, and there it is. So Adelaide build up. Oh, he was off, surely. He's given a reprieve.
Burton short, just to 20. Doughty pumps it long. Saints have the extra man, and in front, it's a good mark. It's taken by Sam Fisher.
Just panning down the other end, I think the message has come out to Kazitsky to play decoy forward on Rutten, such as Rutten's dominance. I think they're going to try and get Rewalt one out in the goal square. And looking at Kazitsky's movement at the moment, he's been told to get out. And here he is up the ground now. Get Rutten out of full back. He's dominating so much.
And it's a clever handball out in space. Gardner runs onto it. Can he get rid of Rutten? He can't. Magnificent tackle by Rutten. Ball still alive. Picked up Kosicki. Keeps it in play. Back to Gardner. Screws it around the corner. It's going to come off. It's marked by Schneider, who wanted to go. He should go back and have a shot at goal.
On his preferred left side, Schneider. And you're right, Luke. I reckon they've said to Kosicki, just get out of the way and take Rutten, because Rutten's hot at the moment. And Montagna, who pushed that ball forward, it was his 7th disposal of this quarter, the most of any player.
Schneider has played a very valuable game for St Kilda tonight. This is his 20th disposal. Lining up for his 2nd goal. And he's missed it. Saints by 5.
5 minutes to go. 5 points the margin. A goal there would have made it tough for Adelaide, but the Schneider man not quite able to finish it off. Neil Craig's Adelaide teams superbly conditioned. No better, no fitter teams in the competition. Can they run this out and win? Symes, oh, well done by young Geary, Jaron Geary. What a fine mark that was. Under the pressure of the dying minutes of a grand final. From Bendigo, he kicks. Fiora edged off it easily by Shirley. John Cock goes backwards. Poke forward for the Crows, and they're a chance now as Goodwin forward to the centre line. Pumps it into the 50. Tippett is there. Couldn't hang on to that one, and didn't have much support when it hit the ground. Graham hand passes for once, and that was well done too to the Gardeners. First Michael, now Charlie.
See Tippett down on the ground. I think he's got a bit of cramp, the young fella. Another great contest he made, but might be all catching up with him when he's in the hands of the trainers behind play. He looks very tired.
Revolt short. Gardner to half forward. Fiora. Schneider went in hard.
She's got good reflexes.
Played a good game, hasn't he, Schneider?
No, he's a smart player, good player. He'll be really appreciated by the other St Kilda midfielders. And Schneider himself, there's Tippett with the cramp. Schneider himself wants to get more of a go in the midfield than he did at Sydney.
Bock to Thompson. McKay. Harvey, the old timer, grabbed it. Now squares it up into the corridor. This is the mark to go. It could have been in the back. Gee whiz, umpires put the whistle away. John Cock.
Let him run.
Has a couple of bounces, weighs up the options. Goes to McLeod. Why wouldn't you? And it's a good kick. Oh, Milne did well to get a hand on it. Ball's still alive. Milne, well done against McLeod. That's a big play.
That was superb play, Stephen Milne, because McLeod looked at him. He put the afterburners on, and Milne didn't give up and managed to get a fingernail in there. That's great defensive work.
And Gardner getting plenty of ruck work in this last quarter, Luke.
They might have saved him. He's got a bit in the tank, and he's getting his hands on the ball, which is a great sign.
Who says they're not trying to win the NAB Cup? They are really having a dip at the moment, and they're having to dig deep because it has been a scorching day. It's taken a heavy toll on everyone out there. Saints work it away. Luke Ball's kick, not 20. But it's a hard ball to win away. So a ball up. Adelaide need a goal to prize it back. St Kilda hanging on and playing pretty well right now. Crows haven't been able to crack them. Luke Ball, Del Santo, Graham, one blind turn too many. Charlie Gardner going the wrong way. Got himself out of a sticky situation. Michael Gardner back to Charlie. That's not 20 either. Del Santo under the pump. Graham again clever. Now Harvey. And he measures it nicely, and Schneider just outside 50, played on, perhaps not called 20 metres. Schneider back to Harvey from on the 50 and does it beautifully. And Stephen Milne from one end of the ground to the other.
He's the best 20-metre kick I've ever seen, Robin Harvey. How good was that? A lot of pressure there, and he had the composure. Prop one step, pop it high into the path of Milne.
He's had 22 touches. Harvey, do you reckon he's finished, Rob?
Well, a couple of thought last week he was finished, didn't they?
He's looked very sharp.
Milne has kicked 2, and this one will ice the NAB Cup for the Saints. He puts it through. They might well be home.
Thanks, Johnny.
So the Saints by 11 points.
What's the square here, Luke?
Yeah. And there's the St Kilda back line. They've got extra numbers back there. Sam Fisher on the right of screen. What a good player to have as your free player in defence. And Michael Gardner's last quarter in the ruck has been quite telling. See, that was a good bounce.
Here's Edwards. He got a free kick.
Got it! Edwards!
So Tyson Edwards. They need 2 goals, the Crows, somehow.
Yours!
Can't be much time left. He pumps it long inside 50. Gardner, good handball. Hayes, Fiora's come into it in the last quarter.
Who do you like for the Michael Tuck medal, Wolsey?
If it had been an Adelaide win, I'd go Tippett. A St Kilda win, I'd go Graham.
Saints go to half forward. Jones knocks it forward. Here's Bock for the Crows. Out wide to Symes. Just got to go up the direct route now. Riley's back into the corridor, marked by Stevens. He goes up the middle. It's a good kick too. It's marked by Goodwin.
He's a good lead-up player.
Too far out to score. Leads on everywhere. Good kick. Burton.
Set that up superbly, Adelaide.
Got to go back and shoot for goal very quickly.
The strength of Simon Goodwin as a forward is that he can meet the ball with a fast lead and a hard ball coming at him, and he's got sure hands.
Siren's gone. The kick doesn't matter. Burton's nailed it, but the Saints have won the NAB Cup in 2008. They've hung on to win by 5 points.
I want to be with St. Kilda when the Saints go marching in.
And no carry on from the players of either team, but a lot of congratulations and showing respect to each other. They know that the game was played in really trying conditions, and we saw a good game of football. The second half it opened up a bit, low scoring in the first half. St Kilda fans should be happy. Their team played really well. Adelaide Crows, they're giving us something to look forward to this year. Tippett up forward was terrific. They've got some youngsters in the midfield who are given opportunity, and you've got a forward line that the Adelaide Crows will work on. They know they have to do that, but just a terrific respect amongst the players. That was evident as soon as the siren went. The benches went to each other, and I reckon all of those players, Luke, could say, hey, great to be in a grand final, but also good that we've got the real thing coming up in a couple of weeks.
Let's go down to Corey Wingate with a man who's played now in 3 premierships in 5 matches.
Yeah, Quarters, he says this is easy premierships, 3 and 5, mate. Amazing performance.
Yeah, it's worked out all right, mate. But no, look, most importantly, we finished off a pretty solid pre-season, and it's not something I aim to win at the start of the campaign. It's just good to get some game time under the boys' belts, and anytime you get a chance to travel to AAMI Stadium and have a win, it's a great result. People can knock the pre-season cup, but there's plenty that you guys have got out of this, haven't you? Oh, look, absolutely. You go in every game to win it, and we've probably been undermanned a lot through this campaign, but we're starting to get some players back towards the end, and it's just another step forward to round 1. Well done, mate. Keep up the winning ways. Good stuff. Over to Christy.
Thanks, Corey. Well, Justin, congratulations. A grand final. It has to be as good as winning round 1 in home away season.
Yeah, look, it's great. It's a great platform, and a hit out like that, it was pretty hard and tough, and gives us some good match fitness going into round 1.
Just how hard was it in that heat?
Yeah, look, it's I've never played in temperatures like this, and he's certainly gasping for air within 5 minutes, and knew it was going to be a long night from then, so but you just deal with it.
How much improvement do you think you can make from here on in, from today in particular?
Yeah, look, I think we've got a lot of scope. You've seen our young guys over the past 4 weeks, Geary and Jared Allen, these sort of guys have really stepped up, and they're vying for a spot round 1. So that's great pressure to have on our senior players, and hopefully we can get going from there.
Congratulations now to Corey with Nick Revolt.
Yeah, thanks, Christy. Rui, the boys bonded fairly tight on the back of this win. That's a good job for you guys.
Yeah, it is. It's a good finish to a good pre-season. It was coming into the game. It was never really about the result. I mean, it's always good to win, but it was about the way we went about it, and we did well tonight.
What about in such trying conditions again for the guys to dig so deep? That's a good sign for you as skipper.
Well, it's the same for both sides. So yeah, it's a pretty even playing field.
Well, you're playing it down a little bit though. I mean, to win a pre-season cup, it's a trophy. You're the undefeated side of the competition so far. I mean, that's a good sign.
Yeah, it's a good sign. Again, like I said, it's the way we went about it. Not so much the results. Every game we come into, we want to keep improving and building towards round 1. And it's a good finish to a good pre-season for us.
Let's go straight down to Craig Willis for the presentation.
Well, folks, NAB has been an outstanding partner and great supporter of the competition, which has seen matches played throughout the length and breadth of Australia. I'd like to invite the Chief Executive Officer of Australia for NAB, Mr. Ahmed Fahur, to say a few words and then present the 2008 NAB Cup.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my absolute pleasure on behalf of all the staff of National Australia Bank to award the 2008 NAB Cup to St Kilda.
Thanks a lot. Just like to thank the Crows for putting up a great contest tonight, and good luck for the season. It's a great platform for you. For our boys, it was a super pre-season. We've come a long way, and we've still got a lot of improvement to do. You know, and thanks for everybody for coming over and watching us tonight. Last of all, to NAB for putting on the competition, to Geldrin, and that's about it. Thank you.
I'd like to thank the Adelaide Crows for a really strong effort tonight. They're a really well-drilled team. It was difficult all night and close, could have gone either way. To the St Kilda players, really dug in when it got tough, so that's pleasing. Caps off a really solid pre-season. Now the real stuff starts round one, so we've got to regroup and focus on that. And a special thank you to NAB, wonderful sponsorship, keeps us on the good grounds, you know, all the great facilities, so that's really pleasing. Well done.
Ross and the team, congratulations, fellas. Come up and enjoy the moment as the NAB Cup champions of 2008. Ladies and gentlemen, the St Kilda Football Club.
This has been a Fox Sports presentation.